We are back for another Christian review of regular books and another Frieda McFadden review, and today we are discussing The Perfect Son. Let's get into it. If you've never seen one of these videos before, here's how it's going to go down. First, I do my regular review, what you know and love to expect from a book review, and my own personal opinion of the book. But then I get into my Christian review, and that's where I go over the basic pieces of a book that may or may not have a fellow believer or anyone wanting to read it. I give all of my caveats and any more information you may need about these Christian reviews at the video that's pinned at the top of the playlist. Or you can find it at like one of these boxes. It's here somewhere. So click on over if you're wanting more information. If you're still here, I also want to remind you to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can stay up to date on all of these book reviews as well as our podcast, which comes out twice a month. Let's go ahead and get into my regular review. The Perfect Son by Frieda McFadden is like the best palate cleanser. I felt I needed it. This was actually right after I had finished The Nightingale and I was emotionally wrecked and damaged, and I did not need another heavy book. I needed something light and fluffy and fun, and this hit the spot. On top of that, I actually read this while I was on my honeymoon with my husband, and so it was perfect to have kind of just something easy and quick, something that when I picked up, I knew exactly where I was and what was happening, and I could get back into it and then put it down after reading for 5 minutes. I flew through this book and it was so much fun. I rated it 4 stars because I just had a fun time. But ultimately it missed a little bit because I knew that twist from the first third of the book. Like I knew exactly what was gonna happen and how it was gonna happen, and it happened just like that. Now obviously when you read a book and you think you know the twist, you don't know 100% for sure, but I would have banked on that being the answer. The other reason is because it only had one twist, which is very unlike a Frieda book for me. Usually a Frieda book has a whole host of twists that by the end you are totally shocked and awed by how it happened, but that did not happen in this book. Still a great read, still a perfect palate cleanser, but just had a different feel for me than some of her other books. Now let's go ahead and get into my Christian review. Before we get into it, I just want to remind you that I am also on Goodreads, where I am reviewing and updating that like it's my job. I'm also on Instagram, TikTok, and I do have my own YouTube channel, so if you're wanting more of the day-to-day of what I'm reading and rating, you can check out all of those links down below. The first category I always love to touch on is smut or spice, and there's none. We love that. We love that. The second category is if there's any explicit language, and that's uncommon for Frieda to have much explicit language, maybe a word here or there, and this was no different. Finally is if there's any violence or gore, and there is minor, very minor gore near the end of the book, but ultimately a lot of it's kind of expressed through other lenses or points of view and not from the actual event happening itself, so it's very clean. Age range I think would be appropriate, anyone ages 14 and up. I think it's a really fun book to read and probably would be really enjoyable for a high schooler. Please don't forget that we don't want the conversation to end here. So you can leave us a comment down below. We'd love to know what you think of this book or any of the other books that you want me to review, or you can send us an email at hello@trochia.org. I cannot wait to see you on the next one.